Hey guys, here we are back again. This is the Saturn Critter Trap version 3. This does no longer require the critter traps here to catch the beeters. Because if you take a look at this, we do have exactly 15 to the right and 15 to the left, meaning we only produce one beeta per cycle. Those need 30 cycles to digest them. We have no excess left. It could be a good idea to start this up with the help of a second and a third beeta hive. Just make this room a little bit bigger, place a door down, throw in a beeta, have a second hive, and once everything is filled, well, get rid of the hive. There's a tech button down here to the right and then close this off. Then you have started this up. You do not have the long wait for this to run, and you do not have the problem with the beeters. I personally like this design, but what I dislike is that it is not as modular as the designs before that. Here we can see a picked up plant meat being transported to the infinite storage. Let's just follow that. And being dropped up here. The benefit of the version before was that it was modular, as I already stated. This here can theoretically be, well, split right around here at this point or right around this point. So you only have a 30 Saturn Critter Trap size ranch, or however you want to call them. Technically they are critter but treated as plants. So how does this work? As always, we do have our cool slush geyser. This one has an output of only 1.3 kilograms per cycle. We do have the Escher fall, the infinite storage down below, the sensor at 800 and 500, automated with a simple cable, and the liquid is looped around, sucked up, first stored in the storage down here to the right, then in the storage here to the left. The down right supplies the lower part. The lower part has gold radiant pipes inside of the hydroponic farm tiles, and the upper part, same thing, but supplied by the left liquid reservoirs. Technically, you do not need any storage at all. We do already have the infinite Escher fall storage for that, but since this developed from the lumber setup, this has been an old remnant with the idea in mind to spend the energy first and use the already pumped water later. This is not necessary anymore, so you can just split your polluted water pipes between the top row and the lower row of the Saturn Critter Traps. You do not need the liquid reservoirs at all. Everything that we have too much liquid, I'm feeding into this liquid reservoir for later use in my modular base design that you can then use and place anywhere near this for the duplicant to work there, collect all the stuff, collect the food for your main base. I have the food for the main base here. Of course, you can place this modular thing anywhere, so you can place this above that, but I just had a big free area here, so I built it right there. So that is basically all of the piping that you need. As for the gas overlay, yes, this is more complicated again. Yes, this is too much. You can maybe reduce this to just 2 lines, but I had a material and I built it that way. This here in the middle is a little bit more complicated because we have alternating, this one going down, this one going up, this one going down, and this one going up. This left thermoregulator will cool the left side, this one will cool the right side, this one will cool the top left side, and this one will cool the top right side. For that I have this going in a granite gas pipe here to the left, looping around through steel radiant gas pipes, going back up again, bridging over, then going down in an insulated tile, jumping over to the next bridge, and then bridging onto the outlet of the thermoregulator, giving the output always priority over the input. This is deactivated at the moment because it is set to, if it is above -14 degrees, we do not want to freeze the pipes, then cool it down and send the cooled hydrogen through our piles. The same here for the lower right side, the same for the top left side and the top right side. We just had to fiddle a little bit with the bridges so we can actually get the hydrogen down and out. As you see, we only use 2 hydrogen generators, so we are saving on material that way, at least in this area. I am still using 2 smart batteries in case we do have the top side and the lower side start up at different times. We still have the thermo sensor included that is set incorrectly. This should be at above 100. Oh yeah, at above 100 degrees Celsius, then turn this on for 100 seconds. I copied the setting over a few times, so it must have missed that. Then burn the excess energy. Yeah, that is why this room is way too hot. We need to burn off a little bit more hydrogen to cool this room down. Besides that, the rest of the piping is first feed the generators here to the right and the generators here to the left. If we do have excess hydrogen coming from down or up. Then go through the white part here, bridge over, go to the left, go up and feed all of the generators, all of these. If we come from the right side, first feed a generator. If the generator is already full, go over the white part of the bridge over this area here, then go to the top right, feed the lower area here first, and if we do have excess, feed the left loop again, going through the top 3 rows. So the lower row is fed by the right pumps and the top 3 rows are fed by the left pumps. Everything that is left over from the right side still goes to the top 3 rows. As for the cooling system that I included, our liquid storages are in a vacuum. The generators are cooled by the incoming gas. We do have another thermoregulator here because I didn't want to lay a long pipe from down here up there. I wasn't sure if the cooling of that would have been enough. This thermoregulator is not cooled because it is right on top of our cool slush geyser, being cooled when the cool slush geyser erupts, and it is not running very often, so it has a wide temperature range that it can go through from -10 to over 270. This one goes through a few insulated gas pipes, then a few radiant gas steel pipes. You don't need that much, but just as much as you can bear to build, and a few metal gold tiles to cool this whole room. This whole room is of course in hydrogen. I did not overpressure that on purpose. I just placed down a gas vent, and because of the way I have this laid out, every time this thing opens, it just overpressures the room to 2.5, which is good. If it would be below 1.8 kilogram and something would rot or drop in the second it rots, it would off gas. So if you have gas over 1.8 kilograms, 1800 grams, you will not get any polluted oxygen here anyways. The plant meat is of course in a sterile atmosphere and frozen and will be fresh forever with a change of 0% per cycle. We do have 1.6 million calories here already. This here is a vacuum again, a triple liquid lock, so that if a duplicant walks in and jumps over, they do not get the sopping wet debuff. They can still grab this. Why is there a door? Because we do have a park here and the conveyor chute counts as industrial machinery. If we would not have the door here, it is still a park. Thank you, game, for showing everyone that I'm wrong. I did have some kind of building here before that this did not count as a park anymore, but apparently I was wrong. Maybe I used a high pressure valve, I am not sure. And down here we do have a nature reserve. 2 plants here in the top and 2 plants down here below. The power for this looks like so. We do have this slightly overlapping power setup where we power the second and the third thermoregulator and the first and the third together, so that we do not mix the top and the lower side unnecessary and make this more complicated than it is. So it is more cleanly split. So one side supplies the lower left side and the lower right side, and the other power generator supplies the top left side, bridging it in a complicated way, and the top right side. It also powers our pump and powers this thermoregulator. And this is just the main power spine going out right here, supplying the base with power, symbolized by a lot of power transformers and a few lights. I also included this switch here in this vacuum bridge, where we can just cut the power to everything for no reason. Now I quickly show you the overlays, and then we can go to the modular base. This is the oxygen overlay, the power overlay, temperature overlay. Yes, this is still a little bit hot because I forgot to set the sensors correctly. The gas overlay, the liquid overlay, the piping overlay, the gas piping overlay, the decor overlay, plant growth overlay, the room overlay, the automation overlay, and the conveyor overlay. Let me quickly say something to the automation overlay. We just have a simple automation of 10 seconds green, 10 seconds red to the left auto sweeper and the right auto sweeper. You can set this to 2020. This is just to prevent this cable here from overloading, nothing more. We do have the same thing here on the right. We do not need this down below because only on the top we have the cable higher than a potential load of 2000 watts. So that we do not overload this, I included this small automation. The gas pumps are just set to if above 1 kilogram, then start this. Same here to the right, same here down below, nothing special. This here is hooked up to the doors, so that if you place in the bee tiny at first, you can trap it and have the beta hive grow where you want it to grow and not somewhere else. Same up here. Do we have any more automation? We do have the smart batteries. Each floor control the hydrogen generators set to 90 and 70. And that's it for the Saturn Critter Trap setup. Now to the base setup. The whole base setup is just powered by the incoming water from here the top left, and the power also from the left. Because I didn't want to make a long cable here, I just placed down 2 power transformers and a def generator, but you could also just replace the def generator with the heavy watt wire that you have from your main area right here, which of course isn't very pretty, or you can have the 2 power transformers built next to where you actually need it. Could you just give me the button game like this and then run the conductive wire into your base like so. As for the small base, as I mentioned, the water comes from the left. It is still pretty cold at -9°C, so I'm using the same heating system that I used in version 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3. This is just a thermosensor set to if below 25 heat up this room. This is set to above 23. Only then open the liquid shutoff. Before that, don't let the water through. Please make it warm first. And then the water is fed down. First bridged to the left with a priority to the water sieve. If the water sieve is already full, then the rest will be bridged down into this single hydroponic farm tile feeding the thimbleweed. And because we already heated it up, it will grow perfectly fine in its desired temperature range of 22 to 37°C. The clean water from the water sieve is stored inside of this liquid reservoir because we do not want to run out of clean water because we need it for our oxygen supply this time. This time we are not using oxyferns in an amount that can actually oxygenate our duplicant. The clean water is then bridged over the thimbleweed tile, looped around just slightly bit, then prioritizing the electrolyzer, the rest looping over the composter because this produces a lot of heat, and then fed down to our oxyfern if you would have it in a hydroponic farm tile. You can have anything down here that reduces the amount of carbon dioxide accumulating in the lower parts of your base. One oxyfern even in a hydroponic farm tile is not enough to take care of the carbon dioxide exhaled by your duplicant. I would just use a carbon skimmer next time. So you might need a few more of the either wild planted oxyferns, or you get rid of your carbon dioxide by dumping it with the pump outside. You've already seen the liquid piping. The gas piping is just the same as before. A gas filter set to oxygen. Feed the oxygen into the base here, here and here, and feed the rest into the atmosuits. No prioritization this time, just an equal split to the atmosuits and to the base. The power of course comes from the outside, but since we are using more than 2000 watts at the same time, I did a slight prioritization for the power by adding one of those power shutoffs here. The power shutoff is controlled by a NOT gate. If this thing here is not running, only then allow the power in this lower part to be used. The lower part is just amusement, arcade cabinet, a party line phone and the rock crusher for if you need sand and don't have it. This time I also included a poke shell, an elderly poke shell in this area. The water sieve will produce polluted dirt. Polluted dirt will be eaten by the poke shell. The poke shell can produce up to 35 kilograms of sand per cycle. When it uses 70 kilograms as a food source, it will turn into sand. The sand will be stored. If the sand is needed, it will be put into the water sieve by the water sweeper. So the water sweeper also isn't running permanently. And if we then still have excess polluted dirt, for example from the outhouse, we can put it in the composter and make some dirt out of it and then reuse the dirt in the outhouse. So this here is the recycling for the toilet system, and this is a little bit of recycling for the sand system. I'm guessing that you still need sand from the outside, but not as much as you would expect. A quick disclaimer here, yes, you can build a lavatory as well instead of an outhouse. I just really do not care about germs. You can rearrange your modular base however you want to, include a bath and so on. We do even have some rooms in here. We do have a great hole right here giving +6 morale, and we do have a barrack here. I managed to squeeze that in inside of our plastic ladder and fire pole room. Let me quickly show you the overlays. Oxygen, the power overlay, heat, liquids, gases, liquid piping, the gas piping, the decor, the germs, plant growth overlay, the rooms, the automation and the conveyors. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like for the algorithm. And I might see you in the next one. Game, stop stuttering. And I hope to see you in the next one. Love you guys and Luma out. Also, you might want to check out my main channel.